Panelists on the line. When you are ready to begin the presentation, press the Start Broadcast button on the GoToWebinar control panel to allow all attendees to hear you. This system will notify you once you begin your broadcast. The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello, David. You can unmute yourself. Hey, Jane.
Raj, can you hear me?
Very faintly, yes.
Okay, well, let me see if I can mess with my microphone a little bit.
Maybe stand closer to it.
Yeah. If you like, I think you have the screen, right?
The screen has me, yes. I'm just trying to get
that. Yeah.
I want to find something here to put on for.
I've got the regular opening if you want. Notice it said, did you turn the recording on?
I did.
Oh, okay. All right. I do have the regular screen if you want that. I created one.
Okay.
And then I can give it to you because you're going to do the thing. All right.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay.
Got a thing here from Dave. He says he's here. He had the wrong headphones. Can't I mute myself? I don't know if he can or not. I'm going to turn on his microphone. Dave, are you there?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Oh, good. Okay. Yeah.
Great.
I can't unmute myself on the iPad, but I realized I had the headphones that don't have the microphone on them.
Oh.
I was looking at what do you use, Gene?
It's a Logitech headset with a microphone and
yeah.
Well,
yeah, I'm using a Logitech myself.
Hold a second, Raj.
Yeah.
Why at the bottom am I seeing
Spanish
in Espanol?
That's very cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. That wasn't deliberate. That's not part of the.
Well, that's got to be coming.
Webinar?
That's got to be coming through the webinar, obviously.
No entiendo eso.
There's a website connected there, huh? www.translatit /KCWZL.
Well, if we can you mute? There's a mute button there. If you mute that.
All right, is it there now?
It's still there, but I can hear you.
Yeah, but
I don't know
it's not scrolling anymore.
Stop subtitles.
There you go. That's pretty cool.
I don't know where that came from.
Spanish the only language available for that?
I wonder
I wish you would have asked that.
I wonder what got that going.
I have no idea.
Wow.
Somebody's hacking into our thing there.
Actually, cool, that's a really great potential tool for an ESL teacher who's doing
and we forgot to
on-site.
look down on that it was translatesomething.com, you said.
Yeah. Is there a way to get it back? Did you close the dialog box, or is it still?
Ah.
Well, we'll have to wait till next week.
Yeah, see if it comes back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be curious to see if there's other languages.
Yeah, it was
in there besides just
fairly,
Spanish.
instantaneous.
Yeah, and what? Oh, hold a second. English to English. What is this? Do you see what I'm showing?
I don't see it on my screen.
All right. On the control panel, Raj. Dave, I don't know if you'd see it. You know where it says File, Options, Help,
and a little doodah. English to English.
Yeah.
Spanish. Well, you know what? Why don't we try
No, it just
French.
changed the whole.
Oh,
Changed.
Oh, it may have muted
yes. Now
Gene there.
maybe he's speaking
Am I
Korean.
muted?
Oh no, I hear you. I hear you.
Yeah. I don't remember
You know,
seeing that symbol before.
No, no. And all I did was it changed the control panel to that language.
Yeah. Under options. No.
Okay.
I'm gonna do a little search on my own computer.
Because that
It was
popped up.
trans.
Yeah, when you put your screen up, it came right through with it.
I think it said
Yeah.
translate dot it. Dot.
I can't. Oh, I wish. I wish we wouldn't have been
something.
so quick to jump on it.
Yeah, we're looking at it more
Let's
as
see.
an error rather than a.
Yeah.
Microsoft Translator Live is a free translation and transcription service that lets you have translated conversations across multiple devices on iOS, Android, ... Let's click on that. It looks like it's Microsoft,
I wonder if.
which is good news because
You know what, Raj?
Yeah.
Hang on.
365, you'd think maybe it's
Let me. I don't know if something.
Let's see. Yeah, if
I
you do just a Google search for translate it, the first hit was the Microsoft site.
Oh, I just wondered if it would show what it doesn't show. Yeah, I was looking at my history here. No. I haven't used this much, so it doesn't have a whole much of a history. But... Huh.
That was fascinating. This is describing. I don't know. I don't know if this necessarily matches exactly what we were seeing, but
Translate
it says.
it.
Yeah. It says on my screen. Click on Start Conversation, log in, and enter your name and language. Share the conversation code with other participants who can join using the Translator app or website. Speak or type in your language to communicate. Oh, that is what we did. So speak or type in your language to communicate with other participants in the conversation. Other participants will see your message in their own language.
Yeah.
Well, I think it was only on your screen. We were seeing your screen, so I wonder if you just, stumbled upon it, and then it was, just happened to be there when you turned it on.
I just wonder. Did I turn off? I must have, yeah. Hang on one second. No, that's turned off. That was very strange. I've got to try to figure out what I had done.
Well, we were talking about microphones before this, and I'm curious because there's no way for me to know. I just use a regular Apple set of earbuds. The one that has sort of the integrated mic on the right side of the wire, the non-wireless ones, obviously.
Yeah.
Do they sound pretty good?
Is that what you're on? If that's what you're on right now, it sounds excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only time I think I haven't been on it is if the first webinar where I was showing something on my screen, I needed to use my district laptop, not my iPad. So when I use my district laptop, I don't use a headset at all. I just use the integrated mic on the laptop. But yeah, I every time I talk with Colleen on my iPhone or listen to her on her iPhone, I'm really surprised at the quality of the audio compared to, we still have a landline, so there's an order of magnitude difference. I don't know if what it's doing, but it just sounds so much cleaner.
I was looking. The reason I asked is I was looking for Mine is a few years old. It works fine. It's like one of those, it's wireless. I charge it up. I have to put it's not Bluetooth. I put a little thing in the USB for it, and
Okay.
I just know that it's not a matter of if, it's when it maybe stops charging, because it's been, like I say, a couple of years on it. But some of the newer ones I'm looking at, they're all gaming oriented, and
Yeah, right.
they're massively expensive, like $100 starting point for many of them, or in that range.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well, what's interesting about the Apple ones that I'm using is I think they work great with iOS devices, but I've plugged these into my district laptop, and I don't think they work. And I don't know if I just have my settings wrong or something, but I mean, I have a plug on my new
Look at this.
Lenovo, and it looks like a headset with a mic on it, but I've never been able to get them to work.
Hola, you guys.
Hey, it's back.
It's back.
bueno.
I don't know what I did.
Translate It is the name of the site.
/EYWJR.
Now, it looks like it's only translating what Gene is saying, because I'm talking right now and it's not.
What Gene is saying.
Yep.
El Genio, yeah.
I like it. I got to lay this on.
Solo traduce.
Well, okay. Well, we're sharing your screen, so we're, getting the feed from you.
Yeah.
So.
Translate it, EW. But how did I get it?
Yeah, that's a great question.
You know what? It's got to be. Can I check something out?
You think it's integrated into your? Oh no, it looks like it's running separate from any applications. It looks like it's got its own box at the bottom of the screen.
Yeah, it does. It does. But how did it get here, and why is it here?
Right.
Hello. You know what? It's not running right now. Oh, I've got muted.
Right. It looks like you muted it. Yeah.
Okay. I'm unmuted.
Estoy en tu cabeza.
I am in my head. Cabeza means head. I am in my head.
And mi cabeza. Yeah.
Cabeza.
Interesting. Can you click on that those three dots there, Gene, and see if there's any language choices? Or I'm just curious about this.
Hide subtitles, settings.
Yeah, check the settings.
Saved transcript.
Oh, that's neat.
Oh.
Unmute audience.
Oh, there you go.
Roger, say something.
El Camino. Unmute audience. Transcription guardada. Yeah, this is really cool, though. It's not.
It is. It still doesn't look like it's picking up our voices, though.
No.
You know,
and that might be something unique through because of GoToWebinar.
I am
these setting options?
It's not
there,
something
Gene?
I added into. Remember how? Where is that? You can go and add apps to your. Okay, home. It's like you go to the store and you can add. Oh boy. Animation slideshow review. I'm trying to think of what the. I thought there was add-ins.
I'm gonna walk away for 1 minute. I gotta ask Colleen if she's ever seen this, because she would know. She's always on top of all
of this. See the other languages listed there as well.
Yeah. Hi, Angela. We're trying to figure out what the heck's going on.
I'll be right back. Hang on.
Okay.
Not one of my add-ins.
Hey, Colleen.
No, see, it's not there. I thought it might be an add-in. But it's running.
An add-in to what, though?
One of my PowerPoint, you can do add-ins.
Yeah. Oh, because you were the PowerPoint slide.
Yeah, and I wondered if I just hadn't in one of my sober moments, added this in.
Translate it.
Oh, you know what? I can move it up here. Buenos dias, everybody. Where is everybody? Where is everybody?
You moved it around the screen.
Yeah, you can move it any you want. You can make it, I'm wondering if you can make it bigger. Yeah, I don't want to do that.
Yes. Good evening, Angela. Gene's acknowledged your
Yeah,
presence. I do as well.
we're trying to figure where this came from, Angela. We have no idea. If you speak Spanish,
Oh yeah, see, it's on the.
yeah, I moved it around. See, you can move it around. You can make it bigger. You can make it smaller.
So you could choose the.
Can you change the language, Gene?
And no,
Oh, you only have Spanish. There isn't like a.
transcript settings. What
Good
settings?
evening, Michael.
Yeah, try the settings. See.
Yeah. It's got my microphone. Notice it says PowerPoint set. Notice it has a little PowerPoint thing there.
Right, like it's embedded in PowerPoint or something.
I think it's embedded somehow into my PowerPoint. And I just turned it on.
Well, did you look at your add-ins for PowerPoint?
I'm just, well, you know what? I'm going to close this. Let me go down to file.
Yeah, I had not heard of that.
Huh.
What's that?
Yeah.
Account, my account. Office update. We'll see what's new. See, that's not, okay.
But if you look at your add-ins,
It's not there.
you're not looking at the add-ins yet.
I did. I did, or I'll do it again. I just want to see if there's presentation translator. The translate figure is notice here. I wonder if this is, if I accidentally did this. Presentation translate. No, that translates the whole presentation though, I think. It just translates it into a Spanish presentation.
Whoa.
I don't know.
I'm on Microsoft PowerPoint here, and I went to at the top where you can search.
Yes. Hi,
within
Sarah.
PowerPoint.
Yes.
And I searched translate it,
Mhm.
and this looks more like it's for text, but it has an extraordinary number of languages in it.
Yes, yeah. You can do that.
But that must just be for text. You must take a piece of text and then translate it.
Mm-hmm. And you can translate. I think there's a way of translating if you have a PowerPoint in, say, English, and you want to completely translate it into Spanish. It would do that. But Sarah and Michael, who are joining us, thank you. Well, something has just popped up on my screen, as you notice, and we cannot figure out what it is or where it came from. That is interesting, though. Oh, well. It couldn't be, Raj, it couldn't be because I'm getting closer to Florida.
Very likely.
Actually, we're down in North Carolina tonight. I don't know what to do with this silly thing. We kind of turned it off, and it did come back, didn't it?
Well, let's turn it off and pursue it.
Well,
turn it off and see if it comes back.
All right, stop subtitles. Here's stop subtitles.
There you go.
Boink. It's gone. Okay, now Now watch. If I go to slideshow, let's go to slideshow from beginning. Good evening, everybody. Are you there? There it is. It's popping up again.
Huh. As soon as you start talking.
You know,
So
if
if you close it out from here, though,
yeah, now I can talk, yes, yeah. But I'm confused. What I must have done, somehow or another, I embedded that thing into this PowerPoint. I'm using my Surface Pro, which I don't normally use, and I went into my OneDrive and found this particular PowerPoint so I could update it and show the proper date and number tonight. And somehow or not, I don't know when this thing was created, but I must have added that on. I wonder if I didn't add it on last year and we were showing. Did we at any time show that?
well, that's the first time we've seen that
Yeah.
translated.
Yeah. Okay. No. I'm going to try something. Okay. Let's see if it's there. It comes. See, it begins when we begin the PowerPoint.
You mean
PowerPoint. El PowerPoint. Poder. Yes.
Well, I don't know. I was looking through a whole bunch of stuff. Tonight I had a mention of PowerPoint, but I wasn't going to show any. I don't have one to see if it happens on something I show.
Hey, Raj, look at that.
It's a QR code, yeah.
Well, you know what that is. Anybody have a phone?
Anybody not have a phone?
Yeah, well, anybody have a phone that'll. I have a QR reader.
Yeah, I've got mine up, and it just.
Oh, it already did. It took me to. It's a Microsoft conversion code.
Start conversation, join conversation.
Click on start. It's an app. You can download it on the App Store for Apple.
Click on start conversation, log in, blah, blah, blah.
But I did not get the app.
But look at the app. Look at the little icon for the app.
Where I'm not seeing. Oh, the little.
Scroll down on your phone.
Oh, yeah, that's the thing that's on most of them. Yeah, it's. Well, if we may. By the way, those people joining us and are saying, "What the are you talking?" We're wondering why we're seeing Spanish at the bottom here. And I'm going to end the show. And now, when I ended the show, it also ends the translation. No, it mutes me.
Well,
but I'm going to unmute myself.
Leave it up for the next.
Yeah, I'm going to start it again.
Bring it back for 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
Hey, Gene, go to the tab on the top there that says review.
Yeah, that's what I was. Yeah, that's where I was. There it is. There.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
That's the same logo. It's the same.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was looking for.
Because it's a Microsoft product, so.
But how do you, and I just clicked on it.
Well, it's clicked on. If you click again, does it click off? Now run it. Now close that.
Do this.
Right. Now run the show. No, don't click there. Click that off.
Well, I just got a little ding when I did that.
Oh, that might have been mine.
Oh, I heard a ding.
Yeah,
Okay. Bye, everybody. Again, people who are joining us, we're really confused tonight. Okay.
Yeah, just start the show now.
Is it 8 o'clock?
No, I mean start your PowerPoint.
Oh. Talk about confused. Okay. Now, here's what we're going to do.
I think
Here we are.
mystery is, oh, there it is.
And it starts, it somehow or another, I have embedded this into that show. I have encrusted it.
I wonder though, when you turned it off, resave it.
Resave.
Save the
This
file.
I did. Are you saying save the file and then
Turn
start
it
it
off.
again?
Turn it off, then save the file.
And show.
Yeah.
File.
Go to review, see if it's there.
Review. Oh, you want me to save this first?
No, I want you to turn it, because it looks like it turned itself back on.
Right. It just
All right,
keeps turning itself back on.
I'm not following what you want me to do.
End
Okay.
the translation.
Okay. Oh, end the translation. Stop subtitles.
Right. Now go into the slide.
Yes, and start it again from current
No.
slide.
No, go to review. Now go to review. It's not on there. Okay, it's not clicked on. That tab. I was just wondering if you ran it before you saved it, if it didn't automatically save. If you hit the save button now.
Yes. Right now, go to save.
Right, just hit the save icon. There.
That thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
See if that makes any change.
We're waiting to see if it starts, and it's starting.
Well, you got yourself.
Good evening.
You got yourself something to work on for a week.
You know what? I'm going to work on it in the car tomorrow while I'm driving. Okay. No, good evening, everybody who's joining us. We're just trying to figure out how this language got embedded into this program, and we're not sure.
If we're pretty sure that's it, correct? Because you went to that website. I don't know what GTPWQ means, but
yeah, I was wondering into a different language, but it doesn't pop up and allow me to. Oh, hang on. So
translator auto detect.
Let's change it to another language. French. Okay. Now see, but that's text to insert.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's going to do it.
Yeah, I don't think that translator button is what's pushing this.
I don't think so either. Yeah, no, it's still in Spanish.
Yeah, it seems like it's running independent of the PowerPoint application. Well,
something
actually, yeah,
something going on in your Surface there for that.
But I'm just, I wonder, may I try this? Goodbye. Let me get rid of this. Notice it runs independent
even if
of
you're not using PowerPoint,
exactly.
right?
So what are the settings there?
Settings where?
Well, you just
Here?
had that little sub menu. You had a settings. No.
Here?
There. Settings.
Hide subtitle.
Settings. Okay.
So subtitles, overslide, size, that's about it.
So if you turn off show subtitles, if you just turn that off, subtitles.
Oh, then you won't see them.
Well, we don't want to see them. We want to figure out how to, right? And it's got and acknowledges your microphone.
Yeah, it's got the right
Configure devices.
Yeah.
It's all related in your settings. But if you click off the check mark for subtitles, we won't see them, right?
I just close it off, and
yeah.
you're going to be doing most of the talking.
Yes, but you didn't
Is,
click.
yeah,
You didn't take the check mark out of the show
yeah,
subtitle.
well, okay. Yeah, no, I didn't. Well, hello. Yeah, it just took the subtitles out. It still shows the screen though.
Show partial messages.
Okay. Well, Raj, it's 8 o'clock. I'm going to have to try to figure this out. It has become I have worked on
Well,
several puzzles
throw your
today.
PowerPoint slide back on so people can.
Yeah, so we can get going, and I'm going to.
I'm gonna mute myself as well.
Okay, Dave, but
Okay.
feel free to. Well, we have to acknowledge you, don't we? You can't unmute yourself. Okay.
Okay, here we go.
Oh, it looks like once you do it once, I can turn it back on.
Oh, good. So feel free to jump in.
I am going to stop the subtitles. You don't want those, do you, Raj?
No, we don't need them.
We've had enough of those tonight. Okay. Hey, good evening, everybody, and we're glad you're here. This has been a confusing half hour, and
Not much for the early birds to glean from this, except we
other than
an exercise in problem solving. How's that?
yeah, it's a very interesting thing that when I started this PowerPoint, it opened up a window that was showing our conversation, my conversation translated into Spanish. I mean, it might be a useful little device if we could figure out what the heck it is and how it worked. So with that, I'm Gene Colbago.
I'm Roger Carroll.
And we've been talking to Dave, and thank him for joining us as usual. And we want to thank everybody else for joining us, of course. Raj, I think you're going to take the major part of the show tonight, so I'm going to be your sidekick. If you need anything, just let me know, and if I see any questions,
Coffee.
I'll let you know.
Cup of coffee.
A cup of coffee, okay. I will have it emailed to you directly.
Okay.
Okay. And you know what? I've lost there's my sharing. So I wasn't even able, it's going to be one of those nights. I'm going to change presenter to Mr. Carroll. And Raj, you should have the screen.
I think I do have the screen, and you should be now seeing my screen. And it's opening up to my online, my OneNote notebook. And let's preface this a little bit more, Gene, with what's going on here. Gene is on the road. He's halfway to his destination, or better than halfway to his destination in Fort Myers, Florida, and has stopped off at some in-laws and is joining us online. And so I'm going to go through a whole bunch of stuff tonight. We don't have any guests other than those of you who would like to chip in, ask a question, chime in, and so on. So please either raise your hand or ask that question, and we'll get to you. Gene will be watching that side of his screen for anything of that sort. One new thing tonight, Gene, I trust we set up the certificate.
Yes.
Okay, so at the conclusion of the webinar, we usually remind you that in about an hour's time after the webinar closes, but about an hour after that, you get a thank you email message in your whatever email address you use to register for tonight's webinar. And in that is a link to a survey, just a quick follow-up survey asking some questions. If you have any questions, any comments about the proceedings tonight. But in addition to that, a new feature, and I don't know how long it's been available to us. I just happened to notice it, Gene, this week before we talked. And you will get also with that link to the survey, it includes another, I guess, a download that you can download for a certificate for having attended tonight's webinar. And we're anxious for you to do that. We always point out that you can find a list of the webinar dates and the specific numbers that the TRC uses to put in credit for your attendance and so on. But here is another way of you accumulating or tracking your records for this. People are conscious about their CTLE hours and accumulating them and the deadlines and so on. So it's another thing. You can print it out, or you could just simply save it as a file, create a folder somewhere, and save that PDF as a file, and maybe name it by the webinar date and so on, and track your attendance that way as well. And I don't know that they're suitable for framing. It looks nice on the little icon we got that showed it will have your name on it, and it will also have tonight's webinar information on it as well. So I look forward to even seeing that. I said we haven't seen one live yet, Gene. I
Yeah.
do. Maybe I'll get. I think I always get a thing.
You know what? Maybe I'll log on with my
Yeah, I usually get
iPad
the
for
thank
just
you,
for a
but we'll
moment.
see. Anyway,
Yeah.
and so I did. So look for that, please, and continue. For the last couple of weeks, we've had some special guests, starting with the superintendent of schools, Mark Laurie, and then we had a subsequent appearance by Mr. Ray Graneri, who's in charge of the district's technology services, and that was last week, and provided us with a whole load of information and overview of the, I guess it was a State of the Union, but the state of technology in the school district, and where we are and where we're going and what's going to happen this year, and a whole lot of things going on. If you can recall, you attended last week, it was just a ton of information. If you want to go over any one of the previous webinars that we've had this year so far, they all are recorded, and you can find them on the TRC website. And if you want to go back, I'd say there's a ton of information there, and it's tough to just, I don't know if you're taking notes or anything at the time, but if you want to go back and review the webinar and pick up maybe a piece of information that maybe you just got a little inkling of and want to go back and hear it again and follow that, those recordings are excellent for that. And that kind of leads me into some of the things that I was going to talk a little bit about tonight. I mentioned if you get the PDF that is your certificate for attending tonight, that you can, certainly you can print it out, but you also might want to save it into a folder or save it somewhere. Now that we're pretty much off the ground, saving all our files in the cloud somewhere, you're going to see a couple of things tonight that I want to show. One of the things you're looking at tonight, and it's very busy right now, I'm just going to change where I am in my OneNote online and talk about a couple of things. That this worm thing that you're seeing, we've alluded to it a couple of times. Gene and I, mostly Gene, signs on quite early on Sunday nights, and we thought for that, 25 minutes, 30 minutes prior to 8 o'clock, the actual start of the webinar, that we have some background chats going on. Anybody who joins us early, we usually try to engage in a conversation. Dave Glahey's been a regular part of that as well. And you're welcome to participate in that. It doesn't add a half hour to your certificate, but it might be a place where you can pick up some added information, ask say a casual question, and so on. So we welcome you to join there. Join us a little early on Sunday nights, and pick something up, add a question, and so on, as I mentioned. But one of the things I kind of thought might be a good thing to do is some tips and some little things that we've come across just as we kind of stumbled upon that translator tonight. We're going to find out more about that and explain more about it as we learn more about it, is some little things that go on that might make life easier for you, some tricks, some hints. So one of the things I wanted to mention tonight, if you're looking at the top of this very busy screen, I'm in the Chrome browser, and this is my bookmarks bar up across here, and you can personalize your bookmarks bar by a couple of little tips and tricks. Notice I also have some folders up here. Well, I I am a hoarder and collector of all things bookmark, going back, I couldn't tell you how many years, but it goes way back. This is just a folder. They're called My Other Bookmarks. When I migrated machines, I migrated browsers and so on. I also imported to or exported from my previous device, and these are all bookmarks I've collected over the years and so on, some personal, some professional, and where I tend to put stuff, and then that starts to pile up, and now I'm not sure where anything is in that list. So I've trying to wean myself from all of these other bookmarks to using these bookmarks of things that are relatively recent in my carousing and browsing around on the internet. But notice here that a couple of these are obviously folders. These are act just like a folder on a drive in the cloud or on your device itself. And I can organize things because there's only a limited amount of space across the width of this bookmarks bar. And there's some that I always want to keep in front of me so that I don't have to go out here, or goodness gracious, go out here. I always want to keep my Niagara Falls School District email tab here. I don't have to go to the district website and use that route into my email. In fact, if the district website is down, it doesn't affect what goes on here. If I just want my district email account, I click that tab and it brings me to the sign-in screen directly. Again, I don't have to go to a couple of different places or even find an icon on my screen. Okay, I've got some other things here that I regularly use. My library thing, a couple of private emails here, my Twitter account, and so on. But I've also created some folders. I've been collecting because we're entrenched and involved in rolling out Microsoft Office 365 and its various components to everybody in the district, all levels, all grades, and so on. So I have here, these are all resources that I use and I'm going to use and refer to when I do trainings or when we do webinars and talk about some of the specifics in Office 365 and the training. So I collected individual, let me get out of there, I collected individual sites here, but what I did then was collect them all and put them in one place in one folder. And that's just as simple as if you right click, you can add, if you look down here, you can add a folder. And that's the same way you manage a folder, again, on your hard drive or one of your drives, somewhere you can add a folder. So, and then when I navigate to a website, here's 109 Common Core resources. Oh, that might be something I want to put my hands on very quickly. Once I've created a folder, let's call this, I'll look at, this is my personal learning network folder, and I'm starting to accumulate things there. And last week, an ongoing theme will be expanding our personal professional learning network. You all have one. It may not be a folder on your desktop. It may not be a folder in your browser. It may not be a collection of websites somewhere. Actually, it's all of those things. It's people you occasionally or even casually talk to about your profession. That's part of your personal learning network. Those people, those websites. One of the things that you can do to collect them is to do so in a more organized fashion in your browser bar up here. This is the bookmark bar. Is put it into a folder or collect them here. And it's very simple to do that. As I pointed out, if you right click in a space on the bookmarks bar, you have a series of options. One of them is to add a folder. If you click that, it will give you the option to name this new folder, and where is it going to appear? Notice here the option is on the bookmarks bar, which is what this is, obviously, in the Chrome browser. So any website that I happen to be on that I like, that I have found either through a Google search or any means, maybe I followed a hyperlink from another website that I'm on. If I want to put that into a folder, there are a number of ways I can save that site. One, of course, is this star. If I click this star, it asks me, where do I want to put that bookmark? Notice here, it asks me what folder I want to put it on. I can put it into this folder that's already here. I can put it into another folder. I could just put it on the bookmarks bar or choose another folder. Notice they all come out here. These are the ones that are appearing here. Cancel that. Another very simple way to do that is to drag and drop. This is a cut and paste, drag and drop world that we're in anymore. So you just simply take to the left of the HTTPS. Sometimes this is a little lock symbol, but sometimes there's a little icon that indicates more about the website itself, which is often the case if it's a Microsoft site and so on. You just take that and take it and drop it into the folder that you want. So I'll drop that in there, 109 Common Core. And then if I now click on that, it's in the folder. And these, if you want to hierarchy these, you can drag and drop them to a different place, excuse me, in the folder itself. You can put it right there. So you can organize and manage these very easily. To help you out tonight, if you look on your dashboard, you'll see that there are 4 handouts tonight. One of those handouts is a way to drag and drop and arrange your Chrome browser bar. That's the first one that's, I think, listed in that. So you can download those if you want to click on any of those files during the course of the webinar tonight, or do it right now if you like. They're all Word documents. And that first one, I'll just open it so you get an idea of what it looks like. It's going to open down here. This is the file we're talking about in the handout. And it's just going to give you a little step-by-step I scrolled too far. It's going to give you a step-by-step of what I just showed you very quickly on the screen here. It's just a little snapshot graphic of how to manage your Chrome bookmarks bar. And that's a handout for you, so if you kind of got lost in translation there, you're more than welcome to download that handout, and any of the other ones are going to talk a little bit about tonight. Okay. Tomorrow is, what's our big holiday tomorrow, Gene? I think it's Indigenous Peoples Day. On our calendar, it notes it as something else. I want to show you a little something. These are the apps for the Chrome. I also have on this bookmarks bar my Office 365 login, and it takes me right there. I don't have to key in my user ID or my password. It takes me right there. It is one of the nice things about the Chrome browser, is that again, the most useful and often used tabs I have right here. So I want to take a look at something kind of neat, and we've talked about this before. It's one of the Office products called Sway. This is a presentation tool, and it's kind of, I don't know, it's certainly not as powerful as PowerPoint. It doesn't have all of the bells and whistles and all the features, the animations and so on. It does have some nice, clean presentation tools, and that's built in to your Office suite of tools, Office Online. And it is a very simple tool. Many teachers are using it in lieu of PowerPoint in having their students do simple, quick presentations of some quick research or some, to display some of their learning. But one of the really nice features, again, we've mentioned this before in Sway, is this little thing right in the middle here is called Start from a Topic. Now, when you create a Sway, because you're in Office Online, everything you do is automatically saved. You don't have to retitle it. You don't have to save as, go through that routine. It saves automatically, which is certainly a sense of security anymore, certainly, and for students working with files and things and trying to save them online. But what I wanted to show you was this nice feature that we have talked about briefly. Once I have created, or you have created, anybody's created a form, it saves it automatically. So these are my sways that I have created. And there are a number of other things. We're not going to go into this kind of detail yet about Sway. Suffice it to say, it saves it automatically. Now here's one that I created recently, like yesterday or today, about Christopher Columbus. And I didn't do all of this heavy lifting at all. This is basically just an outline of information that Sway gathered for me when I went back. I'll show you where I went back here. I started from a topic, and it's as simple as clicking on that star and typing in a topic. I typed in Christopher Columbus for the one you just saw. So I'm going to type in indigenous people, and I'm going to say, all right, create an outline for me. And the first, and it does a couple level searches. What would I like? Indigenous peoples of the Americas. Well, I think that's the appropriate choice here. So I'll click on that, and then I'll say, create the outline. And now it's going out, doing a search, and coming back with, and now again, keep in mind, this is an outline that you can use to prepare a little presentation on whatever the given topic is. And then you or your students then go in and complete the outline. Notice all of the sources here are described as part of the outline. And you have a number of things that you can still edit on. You can edit it, you can change the background and just fill in. This is a heading card. And if I want to actually play this without filling any information at all, I click the play button. And down here in the right, or depending on how you have actually designed it or made some other choices, the scroll will either be left to right or going vertically across top the bottom of your screen. So this now functions somewhat similar to a PowerPoint. So all of these areas here would be where the student would then add their text information to go along with this particular slide. And you can add and delete slides here. This will give you a little different view. This is the outline. This is, I don't know if they call them decks or slide decks. This is the sixth one, and so on through the course of the entire collection. And you can add them in and whatnot and edit them. So what's nice is you can click on the edit tool here. It brings you back to that basic edit mode. And you can notice the prompts here. You can give this text card, a title, add some text in here. You can borrow from the footnote of information when it was gathered from your basic search here. You can change the design and change the styles depending on where exactly do you want the information to appear. Notice change the background color. We did some other, your students would probably enjoy going through picking a design and theme that is appropriate to the topic or the subject matter that they're researching and so on. And then you can hit it. This is all push button. You can remix the entire thing. Let's see what it looks like with that theme and that design. And I'm going through it, going from top to bottom. Once the edit's over, you can share this so that your students can share it. We were working with some students last year who were within their class notebook in their teams, which we're going to talk a little bit about. They were sharing it to one another, sharing it with the whole class, and making a final presentation of their research. And it was just very simple. It was a template used in PowerPoint for this, but it's really kind of neat. It's a quick tool, and we're going back. I'm going to go back here into this way, and notice it saved it automatically. Right here, puts the date on it when the sway was created. And there are some things that you can also do with it, but as a quick starter for some research, you could do this on the spare of the moment. If a sudden sidebar topic comes up in a class discussion, you could quickly throw together a slide or stop the class and say, all right, go to your sway, type in the search here. You can also start it from a document. There are a number of really nice options with Sway as a nice little tool. There's another, I'm going to go back into my Microsoft Office here, and I want to bring up something that I just saw recently. It's in PowerPoint, and it's an add-in in PowerPoint. And I'm going to open a recent document. And this is related to something we just were talking about. And it's, oh, that's interesting. I want to start, let me see. I had one up that I actually started today. I'm going to go to insert. Let's see if it includes it here. Yeah. I wanted to take a document. You work with word walls and things in your class, and you work with vocabulary, and you're manipulating words and text and so on. I want to open, let's see if I can find another one that I can find, a fairly recent one. Let's try that. Okay, this is just a blurb of information about this little add-in called Pro Word Cloud. If you've worked with some online word clouds or bubble word sites, they are very similar. You can pick a font, you can pick a default color layout, you can say I want them mostly horizontal, or I would like them vertically, or you can do half and half, or even if you have a nice option, it's called Higgly Piggly. What I wanted to find, let me, if I can open one that has a bit more text on it, you might appreciate it more, but you'll get the idea. It takes whatever basic text is on the slide, and what I did was I went to the Insert tab, I went to my add-ins. It first is an add-in, and here it is. It's called Word Pro Word Cloud, and it gives you this side panel menu. So once I have highlighted the text, let's do it this. Let's just do it. Let's create the word cloud. It took what I highlighted and created a word cloud. And these are things that I'm sure you've seen online. If I don't like that one, I can change the alignment here. I can also make some other choices here. I'll uppercase if I like. Regenerate it. So now all the lettering is in uppercase. I can change the default colors. The layout, let's try. Let's see what Higley does. It's a little bit of everything. Notice they're kind of scattered around the screen and so on. And then you can, once you've created it, and again, this could be the first paragraph of a story. It could be a piece of writing that you just want to play around with. What words are repeated more? They usually generate the size of the text here. If I bring into, I want to see another one. If I was playing with it, I'm not sure where I found it. I can bring a copy and paste some text into a slide and work with it there and generate it. And then have a discussion, or what words are repeated more often than others. Notice it doesn't really do the articles for, it doesn't seem to pick up pronouns of that nature. But it's kind of a neat thing that you might want to you can do, again, paste a whole block of text here and play around with it. They could just be a list of vocabulary words that pop up. It's just a different way of looking at it. If there's the younger grades, maybe your students don't have them in kindergarten, you don't have this access, but you do, and you can play around with them and maybe working with their sight word vocabulary and so on. And create it again, and there's no limit to the number that you can. And if you save it to the gallery, I think somewhere I did this earlier, you can create tabs. I think this is when I created, I'm not. So you could do a couple of them and tag them, but it does put them out there and makes them searchable. So I'm not sure I want to do that, but once you create the word cloud here, you can copy it, and you can also save it as a picture and use it as a graphic and insert it into a PowerPoint if you want to do it in that fashion there as well. It's also, let me close this out. I'm not going to save that. And go to, I probably shouldn't have done that. Go back into my 365. It's also built into Word. Where are you, Word? Let's say, if I want to insert, should you see my add-ins here? This is where I got it. This actually, one of the handouts in tonight's webinar handout list is you'll find directions on how to download this and use it in Word or PowerPoint. see if we can find it here. I think I put it into my regular Word, not Word Online. Let's just open that up. Yeah, here it is. This is what the handout looks like in the list of handouts for the webinar. It shows you exactly how to get it and how to use it within Word and within PowerPoint as well. See if I can open a quick passage here. That's the one I saved earlier when I was working with this. I'm going to highlight some text here, show this one more time. I'm going to insert the add-in, and it's going to open up its panel over here. I'm going to change the font a little bit. Let's call it teen. I'll just change some of the colors. Mostly horizontal. Let's do a little bit of everything, half and half. And create the word cloud. So again, it took all of the text that's here and used an algorithm and produced it as a word cloud here. So it's a good way, again, of maybe focusing on some vocabulary study and so on. Any text that you highlight will go in here. Let me close that. Not going to save that. This is, again, the handout that's available for you for tonight using it. And now we're going to move on a little bit. I'm afraid I'm closing out my browser again. I want to talk a little bit more about our professional learning network and about some of these Microsoft resources. I want to go through some of the options available to you. You don't have to wait for another training, another workshop, another PD day to get into Microsoft Office 365, to get into any of the tools. We talked briefly about Sway. The other tools that we've mentioned all the time are the ones you're already familiar with: Word, PowerPoint, Excel. The other big one and the big push in the district is with something called Microsoft Teams and OneNote. I want to show you OneNote before I show you some things about Teams and about some of the resources that are available. OneNote is a series, it can be a single one or it can be a series of notebooks. Think of them as the common metaphor is that it is a three-ring binder. A three-ring binder of basically infinite size. And if you take your three-ring binder and put dividers in it, you can have an infinite number of sections within any OneNote that you create. So this is my collect all everything OneNote. This is my OneNote here. These are my sections within my three-ring binder, my online binder. Each one of these sections has pages. That's what's in this column here. You can have an infinite number of pages in an infinite number of sections within, I think, any number of OneNote binders that you want or OneNote notebooks that you want. I kind of look at this one, my main one, as my PLN. This is where I put everything that I want to know about, everything that I gather, everything that I find on the internet that I think I want to save or pass on at some point, and put them in my OneNote. The nice thing about this is that you can do this from your smartphone. You can do it anywhere you are online. If you'll notice, and perhaps some of you caught your eye, up here is a little add-in to the Chrome browser. It is clipped to OneNote. Any resource, if I'm out here on Google, I find a resource that I like, or I follow a link, I can add it by just simply using this little shortcut tool here, add it to any of my OneNote online binders, and I can add it to any section, and I can create it as a separate page. What I do frequently is wherever I happen to be, I'm often on my phone doing this, or I could be on an iPad doing this, or a tablet. Anywhere I'm online, I can be collecting information. If I have a few extra minutes to spare, I can just simply dive in and find some things. This is a section of my personal learning network called the early birds. There are the worms, as we call it, that kind of the conversations that go on before we actually start a webinar. And I just collect some things here I think that I might want to use later on. This is where I put that article, I clipped it, installing the Word, the Pro Word Cloud, and a bit of information, and the link goes there. If I'm out on the internet and I want to, let's say I want to, oh, why not give them their due diligence? I want to find something about today's game, and for whatever reason I wanted to save this, hey, I could just simply clip all of this by going to this icon here, clip to OneNote, and it's going to ask me, first of all, what notebook do you want to put it in? I want the whole page? Do I want a particular region of the article? If I click this here, I'm going to get a little crosshair, so I'm going to click, let's do that. I can say, okay, let's just give us today's score as a reminder. And where do I want to put it? I'm going to put it in my notebook, and I can indicate where exactly in the notebook. There's a default section of your notebook called Quick Notes. Every time you set up a notebook, you always have one section called Quick Notes, and anything and everything that you don't designate for a particular place will end up in your Quick Notes. So if I go back here, I don't know how quickly it syncs. It depends on what it is, the traffic and so on. But if I go up here to my Quick Notes, I might see it. There we go. I just clipped that. And there's the image, and there's the link. The nice thing about this, using it maybe for students doing some research, you can always, whatever you clip, comes with kind of like footnote information, exactly what site you found it on. If I click this, it will take me back to this Google site up here. So any number of things that you want to add in your personal learning network, you can do so on the fly anywhere and you happen to be, just by simply, if you're online on a device like your laptop or something, you can do it here. If I'm online doing searches on my phone, I can clip an article and send it here. In fact, I would say many of these articles in almost all of these categories come from a search I was doing maybe on my phone or an iPad. I'm collecting information on the use of Teams. Again, Teams being one of the great features within Office 365. You're going to be hearing a lot more about this. Yes, I'm looking at one of the notes here, Gene, one of the questions. You just start typing on a page, and you can, this is an ideal vehicle, OneNote, for collecting notes at a meeting. They can be recorded. We're going to look at this Teams briefly, and we're going to be spending a lot more on this. I know there's a PD coming up in November, and I think there's a strong push for a lot of grade level meetings and subject area teachers looking at Teams as a way to communicate, do some curriculum work, and so on. So you all have the ability, if you have your Office 365 account, you want to create teams. I'm on a couple of teams here. I've been working with some. Here is I was on a team last year. I'm on a team this year, sharing with a second grade teacher. You saw his name there, Dave Glahe. We'll be working with his students later on in the school year when they get up to speed on their technology. But we're going to take a look at, these are teams, and within a team, I'm going to show you a couple links in a minute, and then also share them with you on one of the handouts that goes into some detail about how teams function and how you can set them up and how you can manage them and what they can do and so on. But there's something, it's organized, and you'll see in one of the videos if you take the time to do so. You have a Me Space. This is a fairly common navigation panel anymore within some of the Microsoft tools. This is a list of my teams, all the teams that I am a member. And then within any one of these, if I click on it here, it shows up here, and this is what's called the We Space. So if you were a member of my team for the pre-webinar PLC, we could have conversations here. We could also hold meetings. We could actually do what is very, very similar to Skype, is we could meet online live and have a conversation. This is something I think you're going to start seeing quite a lot about in the coming weeks and months in the school district as people get a lot more comfortable working with Teams and kind of what the capability for Teams is. This is, as I mentioned, this is a We Space. These are tabs. If I create a team, very simple, and I'll show you how to do this because you can delete a team, and I'm just playing around with them now to get more familiar with how they function. If I want to create a team, I do so by clicking at the bottom of that page. It asks me, do I want to join a team? If I did, I would have a code. If we're going to put together a Sunday night webinar team, I would create that team, add you to the team, and then you would be sent a code to join the team. But let's say we're going to create a team, and when I choose that option, I have 4 different styles of teams that I have the option to create. Now, you're in a classroom, you're working with maybe second grade, third grade on up. You would probably want to create a class team. Your class lists have already been put into Office 365. So when you form a team and you add your students to it, it's a very simple process to do that. They're already out there waiting for you to put them onto a team. They're not already on a team. You have to create it. One of the things I think we're going to see a lot of this year in the district is we could create a team for PLCs. They are structured very similarly, except that If I create a class team, I'm going to have a classroom notebook. If I create a PLC, we're going to have a different kind of a notebook. Staff members, this might be for something within a school. Maybe one of the secondary schools, it could be the social studies department is going to have a staff team, or the principal may have a team of all the teachers and share things out electronically there. And this is for anyone else, all school district employees, students, anyone. Maybe it might be an after-school club. It might be an organization. It might be at the secondary schools, maybe at the high school, the student council, or one of the many clubs that they have there. The moderator, the teacher can create one of those teams. If we create a PLC team, I give it a name. We'll just call it, for the sake of discussion here, we're a webinar team. We are the Sunday night group. And I can add, why don't I even spell that right? And private, only team owners can add members. Now you'll see when this is one of the options. I can change that option. Anyone in the organization being the Niagara Falls City School District, or I leave it default here that only team members can add members, so that if you're on a PLC team, you have the same privileges as everyone else in the team. So it's creating the team now. I can add, we'll just add a couple of people here that we know. I don't want to infringe upon your privacy, so let's add just a few people here. But team members can be added anytime. They are members. I'm going to make them owners. And if now we close that, it's going to create the team. And this is what it looks like. So this is where we would have conversations. People within the team, Gene Colbego, Dave Glahey, and I, or any of you. We might try this live some Sunday night. Let's create a team and get some things off the ground. You can add specific files. Those handouts that I put into the webinar notes tonight, the handouts, they could be files. So I have a file folder that is unique and viewable and manageable by the people within that team. All I have to do is upload them here. The PLC notebook is a unique notebook for professional learning community, which is a little more formalized than the personal learning network that we've been talking about. But this is where curriculum work would go. And it already has some structure to it. And that first slide, that is kind of like a default slide, talks about some of the unique features and some of the things you can do within your PLC notebook. This is shared with everybody. Over here, these are called tabs. You can add tabs by clicking on the plus button. And if there is a PowerPoint you want to share with the team, or if there's a particular website you want to share, if there is a form, which is, we talked about that previously, a quiz or a survey, you can add those into this. I'm going to add a form. You'll see how simple this is. This is just called a survey. Let's call it a tech survey. But I want to add a form, one that I've already created in my Office 365 account. Let's say I want to add it's a technology. Let's see. About 21st century learning skills. So I'm going to save that. So now, notice that tab is that form. So all of these things, all the tools that we're talking about are fairly well integrated into Microsoft Office 365. This is, again, this is Teams. Within Teams, you can schedule meetings. I showed you that you can upload files. If you're working in a class or in an organization, let's say we each have a several different tasks, or if we're a committee and we're working on a project, we can create some assignments in that. But more than likely, this is where you would create assignments and push them out to students if you're working on a class team and so on. There's one other element of Teams that I want to talk about, and it is something called channels. Notice with this team, there are some subheadings among a number of them. Those are called channels. So if I want to add a channel, and a channel is another, like a subfolder where you could create a group of students. Let's say we're talking about a classroom. A group of students are working on a project together. They're doing some group work. If they have a project, maybe they're doing a book report. They've all selected a different title. So you could create a channel for each title of the book, and then you could add the names of the students who would be in that particular channel and manage. You could do a channel for a unit of study. Some teachers are creating a channel for a class period. If you're a secondary teacher, you might teach several sections of the same subject. It might be math or social studies or English, science, whatever, and you would create a channel for each period of the day, and then all the students from that period would be in that channel. And then you'll be pushing out files and assignments to them and so on. So this is all very manageable. It seems like a lot right now. It seemed like a lot when I first encountered it. For some help on all of this, let's go back again and look at the handouts because we're pushing the magic hour here, Gene. These resources I collected. I put a number of them into one of the handouts for tonight. I'm going to see if video resources links from the webinar. It's this video resources. I'll open that up so you can see it. Apparently it doesn't want to work for us. So I'll show you what we're talking about. These are all Word files, so they should reload for you. I'm going to take a look at one huge resource that is on that handout. It is the Microsoft Innovative Educator Community that provides a lot of training, hundreds of resources. You can also find all using the Microsoft tools, and you can again, that's in the handout. It'll take you here. You log into it, and then you can take courses. But one of the things I find really useful about all the programs is you can search lessons for a specific grade level, courses and resources. Gene and I'm sure a number of you perhaps already have done a number of the trainings in here, and they're all excellent. None of them are overwhelming in terms of time. You can do them piecemeal. You work your way through it. The nice thing that them being videos mainly, you can pause them, redo them again, and at the end of each specific function within the notebook or Teams and so on, there's a little quiz to assess how much you know about that function and resource as well. So this is the main one that I go to. It's at the very top of my folder of resources. But some of the things you're going to be looking at in that handout are from this list right here. So, and those are all linkable in the file when you download it. It's a Word document. but there are links within it. So I urge you to download that and just work your way through them. Get back to me if there's any questions about it, and I'll be more than happy to help you out. It looks like, Gene, we've reached our magic hour here.
We have reached that magic hour. And just a couple of things real quickly. And thanks, Raj. You did a great job. And wow, there's an awful lot here. Hey, if you are looking for one of those handouts and we close the webinar before you get it, don't hesitate to let us know. I'm sure Raj would be glad to pass it on to you.
Absolutely. I think I might even put them up on the web page. So along with the recording. Yeah.
Okay, and with that, we're going to say goodnight. Again, don't forget that in 1 hour, you're going to be getting a thank you for attending. In it, there will be 2 links, one to a survey, and the other is the certificate. So check it out, see what it's like. And as Rod said, you might want to keep it to keep track of your hours. And with that, we'll say goodnight. Hey, have a nice day tomorrow, I guess.
Yes,
it's tomorrow.
Indigenous Peoples Day. Yes.
Yes, and hope you enjoy your week and hope to see you next Sunday.
Yes.
Thanks a lot. Good night.
Good night, everybody.